All right, guys, good morning. Yesterday I had some technical problems, and so I found a video online to talk about contour line drawing. Today I've got those fixed, and so I'm going to talk to myself. I want you to continue to practice today contour line drawing because this is the basis of learning how to draw. And you should remember that from drawing one, that we spent days and days drawing random objects at your table. So you can see I've assembled a collection of random objects here from my studio. And I want you today to fill a page in your sketchbook with contour line drawings, which is what you should have done yesterday as well. And one other consideration, and I'll talk to you a little bit about this today, is like line quality. I have a slight preference for you to use a pen just because it reduces the temptation to erase. Any kind of pen will work. I want you to be like bold and confident in your line. You can also do this digitally. So if you have a tablet, a phone is sort of small, I think, to draw on, but if you're used to it, I guess you can probably make it work. Otherwise, what you're gonna do is look for a group of objects today. So not just a single object, but a little collection of objects. So you can see I have a camera. I have this little like container that I made ages ago, actually now, out of a toilet paper tube, if you can believe it. And this little jar, and one of my favorite in-studio models, a plastic chipmunk. I have a whole collection of these random things that I keep in my studio to draw from. So what I'm going to do is arrange these guys now in a little group. Another thing that you can do for this assignment is to do the view of a room and draw everything in it. So that's a variation of this. What I want to encourage you to do is work slow and work as accurately as possible. So I am going to start here with the ear of my chipmunk, and I'm simply going to draw. You can see it's got two edges. And then we have this inner piece. And you can see that it's going to take me a while to just get the chipmunk on my paper. Because I'm trying to go slow. And have my eye and my hand work together. So I'm thinking about looking at the chipmunk as I draw. And I can see right away that my proportions are off. This should be bigger. But oh well, it's a drawing. And it's my first one of the morning, so I haven't had a warm up at all. So you'll find that as you draw, a little bit of a warm up helps. Like you'll find as you make drawings that you'll discover when your drawings are the best. Like is it the third drawing or the fourth drawing that gets a little better? It's not usually the first one that's the best one. But you can see I'm just very carefully working my way around the chipmunk. I'm gonna try to get his back leg in here. And now from here, I can move to my next object. And don't worry if it's a little funky, right? The camera's back here. I can see all sorts of problems with this chipmunk right now. And I am going to not worry myself with them, okay? So a lot of times when we draw, we get kind of hung up on if it looks right or if it's perfect. And instead, really what we need to kind of focus on is this idea that you're practicing and that the absolute single and only way to get better at any kind of drawing at all, is quite simply practice. I think that's why a lot of people say they can't draw. It's easier to quit than it is to work every day and practice and practice. So make sure that as you're drawing, you're not being particularly worried about whether or not it's perfectly accurate. And know that the drawings sometimes will be a little funky. And that's a normal part of learning how to draw and expanding your skill, is that your drawings won't all be perfect. I just ran into my other object here, this little container. And then that little container bumps very quickly into this little glass jar that I have sitting here. So you can see as I go, I'm just working myself from one object to the next, so that I don't get kind of lost in the drawing itself. Like I'm not finishing one. Sometimes you do have to think about what would it look like finished, or make a light line, because that's going to go through there. So you can see that I can do that just to give myself an idea of where would that come out, right? Very lightly. Knowing that if there's that little light line going through there, it's not that big a deal. Thing one. Thing two, hopefully by including that, my drawing might be a little more accurate. So I want you guys to continue to practice today. Again, no shading, just contour line, but I do want you to make sure that you're including multiple objects. Most of you drew a single object only yesterday. If you think back to drawing one, and at the beginning of drawing one, the kinds of like groups of things that I would make you draw on the table. Just find a random collection of things that you think feel interesting to draw, because of their shape, because of something that you like about them. Like I said, I have a whole collection of things here in my studio that I find that I go back to drawing. Your kitchen can be a really good place to find things to draw. Peppers, onions, apples, bowls, cups, spoons. These are all things that you can use. Or you certainly can draw, like I said, the view in your room, the view in your living room, like whatever sort of solution you find for yourself that feels interesting and will hold your attention. And like I said, I want you to spend, like, this should take you a while to finish. The other thing that you can do is you can think about something called line quality. So we're not shading per se, but some areas are darker. And so I can come back or push harder when I'm working and make some of my lines a little bit darker so that they feel a little bit more important. So you can see I can do that here now on my chipmunk. And I can vary that line thickness. Eyes are one of those things that's hard to leave empty. So I'm going to go ahead and just give it a little bit. So that's something that you can think about too, is can I make some lines a little thicker and have it feel a little like volumetric, or go over a line so that it feels a little chunkier and kind of hints at the idea that there's a shadow there, or just even making, like, our eye will sort of naturally be drawn to some thicker lines. So it gives that section a little bit of an importance. We will talk about how to shade with a pen as well. We're all gonna do some ballpoint pen drawing together. So it's part of what's in your kit. And I assume it's something that you guys can find pretty easily at home, is a pen of some sort. It doesn't matter what kind. But first, we have to practice. Contour line is the beginning of every drawing. And the more seriously you take this practice and the more often you do it, you guys are at home, and you probably have a decent amount of time to sit and draw. And it can be very therapeutic to sit and like spend time getting to know some objects, by like really paying attention and drawing them. Have fun. Post a picture of your contour line still life today for homework. Thank you.